Okay, so welcome back. This is me, Hafiz Mohammed Attaullah, AWS Community Builder and Microsoft Certified Trainer. Today we are gonna discuss about static website plus WordPress blog hosting on AWS. This is basic AWS knowledge is required. So a very common scenario where you want to keep your website static or uh, you know build with Next.js SSG. A very common scenario where you want to keep your website static or build with Next.js SSG or probably with React.js. On the other hand, your marketing team wants to WordPress to write blogs because it is in their comfort zone and they don't want to learn anything new. So in a startup where you don't have much time to deal with all these, you might choose one of the three following options to build your entire website with WordPress using a theme so your content writers feel at home. And second is create static pages for each blog and deploy them with the static site. And third is the create a custom blogging tool. But hold on, you have another option. It requires a bit hustle for the first time, but it will make your time much easier uh, on the long time. Serve your website statically using Nginx from one server and run WordPress on another server. Now use AWS Load Balancer Smart Routing to load blogs whenever someone goes to blogs on your site. Let's break it down and understand it in more details. But first look at these two examples. Okay. So this is the main website. This is a build with Next.js SSG, that is static site generation and statically deployed on EC2. And this is a WordPress site running on another EC2 routed using AWS load balancer. We will set up the same thing. So uh, first deploy a static website. Create a t2.micro EC2 instance with the following nginx configuration. Uh, just change your domain name with example.com. For example, your domain name is nanotex.org. So just put this, okay, and notice we only handled HTTP and not HTTPS, right? Because we will handle HTTPS at load balancer level and attach SSL certificate there too. So now after this configuration, you have to restart uh, just Nginx. So for this configuration, you have to write sudo service nginx restart, and our static website is now up and running. Now second step is deploy your website or deploy your WordPress site. We will not go into the details of creating a WordPress instance on AWS because we are solving a different problem here. We will only explore things that are relevant to our goal. So to create a WordPress instance, go to launch instance, and on the main instance page search WordPress and select a Bitnami WordPress instance as you shown here. First step and then second step, and or you can also manually set up one. It is all up to you. And once your WordPress instance is up and running, move to the next step. And next step is set up redirection using AWS load balancer and route 53, right? So now First step is create load balancer. On your EC2 dashboard, go to load balancer from the left sidebar right here. Then create a new load balancer. Make sure you select application load balancer like this, right? So it should be internet facing, right? It should be also in the same VPC as your website and WordPress instance, and it should be in the same availability zone as your website and WordPress instance. So after this, add default listener and as your website instance with port 80 and complete the load balancer creation, and we will change it later anyways. And next option is set up ALB routing, right? Add the first listener for port 80. Add one rule to permanently redirect to HTTPS 443, right? Right here, HTTP 443. And then add listener for the, now there will be two rules. See the this image, and rule number one is default action will be forward all the traffic to our static website. Like this means all requests coming on your domain.com or nanotext.com or any page will be forwarded to our static website instance, and the instance name is website static in the in your domain. And rule number two is if the path matches the pattern or blog, forward the request to our WordPress instance. This means if the request URL contains the blog in it, the request will now be forwarded to our website or your WordPress instance instead of the static website. If a request does not contain, it will satisfy rule number one and will be forwarded to the static website instance, as you can see here in this figure. So now you note this, you will need to add your SSL certificate to the AWS Certificate Manager, ACM also known, and attach it to the load balancer. We will not go into its detail as well. So as you can see, I have added the load balancer here. Now add this load balancer to route 53, right? Our next or third step is this. We have everything ready now. A static website instance, we have WordPress site instance, we have load balancer with HTTPS and routes to redirect based on URL. So the next and final step is to make a DNS entry of our website so we can access it using domain name. So go to AWS route 53 directly and create a new route, and choose the record type is equal to A, and then turn to alias toggle in the route traffic to section and select alias to application in classic load balancer. So now you can select your zone, i.e. your best zone. I have, for example, Asia zone, and whatever you have zone, and your load balancer will automatically appear, and select and create the record. Now you can add subpath to your WordPress posts and change your site name and URL and add at the end. Or also you can change permanent link, and by going into setting to permalinks, right, like this. Okay, and that's it. So your main website is running on a separate instance, which could be static site or React.js, Next.js, or anything you want it to be. And when you open /blog, your WordPress site will load. That will make your marketing team much easier regarding posting blogs, updates, sharing them on social media and other sites with easy SEO using WordPress plugins like uh, like so much SEO WordPress plugins. So thank you so much.